Hello. So I am going to talk you through part of the marketing module of my group program, Setting Yourself Up for Success. So I think there's 4 parts and this is the second part. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to jump straight in. So it's all around your marketing foundations. So like I said, this is, I think, the second part. The first part covers kind of the ideal client and the more kind of traditional parts that you might have already covered before. But in general, as part of everything I do, I have a 6-step process that I believe we need to kind of go through when we're working on your business. And so my group program and self-study courses and everything that I do kind of follow this 6 steps. So this is part of the marketing part. So what we're going to do is just look at the ideal client maybe slightly differently in terms of, obviously you might be familiar with the client avatar and kind of going through all different aspects of who that ideal client is and how you get to the bottom of that. But the things that I like to consider when it comes to ideal client is just double checking with your products and your services, like, do they need you versus do they desire you? Because there is a kind of difference. If we walk into a pharmacy and we've got toothache, we need that painkiller. We are on a mission to get it. We're, the buying decision has already been made. We're looking for the one that's going to offer the solution to our problem. And kind of the buying process is very different if somebody needs what you want versus they desire it. So if you are maybe thinking along the lines of a luxury handbag, and we were to go into one of the couture shops and kind of look at a handbag or anything in that kind of luxury end market, it's more because we desire it and how we're going to feel, and the desire, we haven't decided that we're going to buy. So it's a very different, again, a different buying process if we desire something to whether we need it. So just check in with your products and services. It might be that it's a bit of both. So there's often a crossover. In my wedding industry business, it was obviously there was a need for the service, but there was a desire that came with it into how it looked, how it felt. So understanding which parts of your product and services, which parts are need, which parts are desire, whether it's skewed one way or the other, is going to help you to talk to your audience. So you can then really understand what problem is it you're solving. Is it you're sort of actually solving a problem and they're much more interested in hearing the solution, or are they much more interested in hearing about the feelings and that side of things? And then, like I said, you can kind of put in that, how will they feel once working with you? If it's a solution, is that kind of the desire, or are you actually solving the need? So every answer to those other questions is going to be based on whether it's a need or a desire, or if it's a mix of both. So the other thing to think about is, what is keeping them up at night? Now, there's lots of different schools of thoughts around, sort of pain point marketing, desire marketing, but you will obviously need to decide what is right for you, what is right for your audience, based on what it is you actually do and what is it that is going to capture somebody's attention. So if somebody does need you and they are sitting up at night worrying about it, then try and tap into that. If there is a transformation, if they desire an outcome, what is that transformation? What is that desire? Think about, why will they buy it? So again, it's really understanding that need, that desire. Why will they buy? What is it that is going to make them need it or desire it? Start to think about, is budget an issue for them? Where are you in the kind of what's the right word, like the luxury market or the sort of more solution focused. So again, if we think about the handbag example, you can go into any kind of high street store, buy a handbag for kind of 30-40 pounds, and you have handbags that are around kind of, you know, 150-200 pounds. Or if you have you know, a bag for 1,500 pounds, like, where is the budget? Is budget an issue for your audience, depending on what you do? Because again, what you're trying to put out there and the messaging that you're putting out there will either be around the budget because it's affordable, because it's a good solution, or they don't care how much it costs. It's all about the desire and the feeling and the transformation. So knowing whether to include budget in your copy, in your marketing, is like trying to understand, where does that sit? Is that a concern that people have? Do people have a concern that, oh, they think you might be expensive, but actually you're not? Where does it fit? And so then obviously starting to think about, you know, where will you find these people? Are they online? Are they offline? Start to think about what their sort of habits are in terms of where you will actually be able to get in front of them. Well, is it at networking events? Is it through friends of friends? Is it kind of through word of mouth? Is it that you need to place an ad somewhere? Is it that they are online? Is it that they're actually Googling you? Like, if they have a need, are they Googling you? If it's a desire, if they just happen to, if you're in the right place and they come across you, well, you catch their attention. So again, someone who needs something is likely to be Googling it a lot more than someone who kind of sees something they like. So just tapping into that side of the ideal client. Obviously, there's all the other ideal client work that you normally would do, but these are just a couple of extra little things that you might not have thought of. So a good thing to do is, I like to get a piece of paper, and when we're actually doing this work, is to just kind of divide it up into 4 and start to think about each of your products and services differently, because they are all going to be different. So if you are service-based, and you know, you have one-to-ones, you have group programs, you might have self-study courses, they're all going to have a very different ideal client. Somebody who wants a one-to-one service versus a group program versus a self-study course, they're going to have different desires, different needs, different budgets, different things. So your ideal client will change slightly across that, so your messaging will be different. So I always think it's a really good idea to look at the ideal client per product and service, because although the core might be the same, those subtle differences again is going to make the biggest difference to marketing. So then I'm going to come on to the client journey and the methods platforms as well. So then again, you can kind of start to plot out for each product or service the client journey that they will go on, and then how you're going to actually get in front of those people. So is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it, you know, word of mouth? Is it networking? Is it exhibiting at certain fairs? Like in the wedding industry, I would spend a lot of time at wedding fairs and connecting with venues and other suppliers. So it's just trying to think about basically this methods platforms is the actual, like, where are you going to be? Where are you going to like be in front of these people? So if we're thinking about the client journey from their perspective, so it's always really good to think about, where is your client in their own journey at the moment? Where are they starting from? Now, do they know they need you yet? Is there an education piece? So sometimes it might be really obvious depending on what you do, and everybody knows they need you. And it might be, again, that depending on what it is you do, your client might not even know you exist. They might not know that that service is even a thing. And so there's an education piece to your content so that they know and understand what you do and that they need you. So again, it's that kind of looking at that desire, that need, adding all of the layers on top. So again, if you're trying to help someone with something, have they accepted that they need help? So again, the kind of education piece, how long is the buying process? Are they actually looking for you? Where are they in their journey? Are they looking for you, or are they not even aware that you exist yet? Have they accepted they need help? Are they at the beginning of their journey? Have they already worked with someone else, but maybe it didn't go well? So maybe they're already aware of kind of the systems. But are you the next step in somebody's journey? Somebody might have worked with somebody so far, and then they're moving on to the next step. You know, if they have worked with someone else, have they maybe been let down by somebody else? It didn't go well, or they didn't get the result they wanted. So they might be more cautious this time round. Now, the other thing, depending on which client or which product or service you might be offering, is have they worked with you before? So again, when you're thinking about the client journey and the ideal client for all of this, if you have follow-on products, obviously we have offer ladders and we have different products and services, you know, the kind of things that they're going to need or want to hear from you, if they've already worked with you and you're taking them on to the next step, it's going to be different, and their journey through your world is going to be different than somebody who is completely cold, new to your audience. And all of these questions that I've kind of asked, it's all about helping you identify again what type of content you need to put out to your audience. Because if they don't know who you are, what you do, they've no idea that they kind of even need you yet, they haven't accepted they need help, they're right at the beginning of their journey, to me it's totally different kind of set of content that you're going to be putting out than somebody who's already part way through it and is kind of advancing their journey. They're already all clued up. And it might be that you make the decision that you don't want to do the education piece, that you only want to work with people who are already at a certain point in their journey. And that's okay. And that's a decision that we will all make. Or it might be that you do want to work with people right from the very beginning, in which case you would need to educate them and sort of help them through. So things to also include in your messaging is, you've probably heard all of this before, but it's just being really clear on your mission, your vision, and then thinking about the message that you're going to put out. So if you're clear on what it is you're doing and what you're trying to do, then you can articulate that and get that message across with everything you do to your audience. So we also have the different pillars of things. You probably heard lots of different ways of structuring, there's lots of things that you can put together, but this is just a little mini overview just to check in with your mission and your vision. Because when what I was talking about in terms of deciding where your client is in their journey with you on whatever you're doing. So even if it's a product, you know, it might be that they don't understand how your product works or how they can work with you, or how it kind of comes in, why they need it. So with your mission and your vision, you would include that in there so that you're really clear on what part of the journey you are actually helping people with. So my mission, for example, is to so the vision is what we want to end up with. So my mission is what I'm going to do to get us there. So my vision is for every business owner to have the knowledge and understanding they need to create the life and business they want. So therefore my mission, so that they can all get there, is to provide access to straightforward, easy to understand training and guidance and resources for the entrepreneur. So by sort of putting my mission out there, we're going to get to what my vision is. So that means everything I do, everything I talk about, everything I'm selling, everything I'm sort of doing, that's the point of it, to get every business owner to the place where they have the knowledge and understanding of how to run the business and what to do so that they can have the life and business they want. So holding that main core messaging right at the forefront will help me to understand what it is I'm actually doing. Now, within that, the messaging I'm going to put out will obviously be around business and marketing strategy. Now, secondary messaging is other things that you want to be known for, other things that you are going to include in your messaging, things that might make you stand out amongst other people. So for me, I have started introducing human design into how I support my clients. So I also talk about that. And I also am quite passionate about people being able to have difficult conversations and be able to talk about what it is they need, without fear of kind of retribution or being too scared to talk and say, oh, actually, I don't understand, or I don't agree with this, or you know, can you help me? So I like to think that I'm quite open in terms of being open-minded. I'm not gonna kind of jump down anybody's throat, and create safe spaces where people can actually say how they feel, and yeah, not feel attacked in the online space. And then tertiary, which is fancy word for third, is basically all the other things that then is going to associate people with me. So if you have been following my content, you'll see I live high up with an amazing view of the sunset every evening, bar the weather. So I'm always posting pictures of sunsets anywhere with an amazing view. I do watch a lot of TV in the evenings. It's the way I switch my brain off. I like lighting candles. If I go out, I'll be drinking a cocktail. I love food. I've got an air fryer. Everybody was all, you know, all about my air fryer. I like going for walks, and I'm super organized. And whenever I ask anybody about sort of describing me, I always get, you know, organized and reliable, which doesn't sound like the kind of sexiest way of describing me, but it's good for what I do for my business. So again, when you're doing all your marketing and your messaging and your content, most of these things will just come naturally to you, but it's just something to be aware of, because if you naturally are a certain way and you naturally love dogs, or you love cats, or you know, you're really passionate about the environment, you're naturally going to attract people who like the same things you do, identify with the same things you do. So by sharing who you are and what you're passionate about, it's going to help. It's going to be part of your marketing and your messaging anyway, especially if you're a personal brand and it's you and you're a solopreneur, entrepreneur. And you're kind of, you know, using your Facebook profile, you might be connecting with people on there, sharing things on your Instagram story. So it's always good to kind of bear in mind what that is, because you know, it's going to tie into what your ideal client is going to relate to. So you're, you know, if you have a product or a service, which doesn't happen very often, but it's kind of at odds with who you are and the message you're portraying, you know, there's going to be an incoherence here. So it's always just really good to know what is it you're putting out, and don't be scared. That's the thing. Don't be scared to share all this kind of information, because people connect with people. That's just, you know, we all connect with people we feel some kind of connection to, some kind of identity with. So who you are, what you do, how you present, even if there's 10 people that have the same technically the same business in terms of the service they offer, it's not going to be the same. Everybody is going to have their own way of doing it, their own personality, their own mannerisms, their own delivery system, and people, your clients, are going to identify with you over that. Otherwise, especially if you're just a product business, just a product, if it's a product business, then people, if there's nothing else behind it, people will only identify with the price. So it's kind of adding those other layers so that price isn't the issue. It's that they want you. So whether that's a product, whether that's a service, they want you. They want to buy it from you. So if we go back and we kind of look over some of this, and the content that we're going to try and put through this is basically to your audience to know what it is you do, how you can help them, like who you are, what it is, what you stand for. Like I said, don't be afraid to make it personal. Trust that you can deliver, show them how you show up, that you are the expert. Obviously there's testimonials, but in this day and age with the online world, with all the different content out there, it's more than that. It's, you know, how you actually show up. They're going to see you commenting on everybody else's posts. They're going to see you interacting in different ways. So how you show up will naturally just kind of add that trust factor in. Now, this is where so it's normally no, like, trust and buy, but I like to add in this educate piece, because it's how much of the education piece needs to be in your content before your client will buy. And that's why when we were talking about it earlier, is really trying to understand that in terms of where the client is in their journey. Then obviously you need to make it easy for your client to buy. Do you actually ask for the sale in your content? Do you have links they can click on? Do you make it complicated for them? But often we spend so much time doing the know, like, trust bit, we forget to actually put out the sales post and say, here's the thing, would you like it? Because that's all sales is. It's just you informing somebody of who you are, what you do, the thing you have, how you can help them. And if it's right for them, this is how they sign up, and you would love to help them. Sales isn't icky. It doesn't have to be icky. All we're doing is informing people of who we are, what we do, how we can help them, and how they can buy. And if we've done a good job, then obviously they're going to come along and want to buy. So then obviously refer, so you can get recommendations from past clients to new ones, and repeat where past clients stay with you and move on. So this content is still, it still can be part of your content and part of your marketing. Is making sure that you are making it easy for other people to recommend you and to share your products and your services. You might even have a referral scheme or an affiliate scheme. And repeat, again, it's not forgetting the people that you've already worked with, and making sure that you have content and you have connection ready for that. So with all of this, it's then thinking about, well, what is the actual content that works best in terms of the format of it? So is it posts? Is it blogs? Is it videos? Is it lives? Is it freebies? Is it how-tos? Is it downloads? Is it images? So in my wedding business, it was very image-based because there was pictures of beautiful cakes everywhere. Now there's not as many pictures. It's very different. I'm educating, I'm doing lives, I'm kind of giving content, and it's a very different business. The marketing for this business to my previous business, the core elements are the same, but then how it's projected out into the world is very different. So, do you need a consultation as part of your process? But whatever content that you create, it's just making sure that all that other bits that we've covered for each of the different products and services, what do they need to hear? What do they need to see? What do they need to know? And how do they need to receive that information? And do you need to do it across all types? Like, I don't really watch videos, to be honest. Things that catch my attention are short, sharp, to the point graphics and posts. And I see something, I know the person already, that's why I'm connected to them. And as I'm scrolling, something sort of captures my attention, and then I'll do it. The videos I do watch tend to be things that are scheduled in, and it's like a specific thing, and it's a time and a place, and I go and I do. Whereas other people, they do sit and watch the video. So it's really understanding what content do you want to create, and how will your audience best absorb the information that you need to give them. So always remember that your price point, so depending on the price of your products and services as well, the price point is relational to your client's expectations and their confidence to buy. So as you're going through this process with all your different products and services, if you've got a $47 thing, £47 thing, the confidence to buy and their expectations and the kind of amount of information you might need to give them and contact and touch points will potentially be less, potentially, not always, but potentially be less than if you have a 6-month intensive program, which is £2,500 or something. So again, think about that handbag. If you're going into a shop and you're buying a handbag for £30-40, what do you want to see, hear, feel, know, versus going into Mulberry and the experience you would want because you're paying £1,500 for a bag, the packaging, the whole experience. So remember to think about what your clients need to feel, hear, see for your different price points as well. So then what you can do is start to match up your ideal client with where they are in their journey to the different platforms. And it's just a couple of little bits here, but it might be you go out networking. It might be that there's some kind of lead magnet if they're at the beginning of the journey, PDF checklist, video, webinar, You can have an email list, signing up, newsletters, offers, events, segment your newsletter, your email list to your, where they are on their journey, so that they don't just get all the emails for all the things that aren't relevant to them. Obviously, you've got Facebook, which has personal profile pages, groups. You've got Instagram, which has the grid, stories, reels. There's LinkedIn, Google search, like we mentioned, what are people actually searching for you? Are you highlighting that? You've got your website, YouTube, TikTok. You might go to real in-person exhibitions. There's Pinterest if you're very image-based, heavy. We're starting to think, do I need all of these? Which ones do I need? So if you do the other things first, you can then start to match where you actually want to be, where you actually want to show up, what you actually want to do. So you're not going to necessarily be all the places doing all the things. So it's being very intentional about where you're going to be, because where is your client and what is the best way of getting across the information you need to give to them. So do you need a Facebook group? Is it that you need to have a really strong connection with people? You need somewhere to hold them all together, and you need to kind of move them through this journey? Or can you do it in a different way? Is it more of a one-off thing? You don't need to kind of take people on a journey. What will actually work for you? So by doing some of this work, hopefully that makes sense. So like I said, this is just a small part of the marketing module on my my group program and my course. And this is just, explaining a little bit how you can start to fill this in with your products and services. Think about the different things you need to think about for your ideal client and the content, where they are in their journey, and then the methods and platforms that you're going to use to deliver that message to people. So hopefully that's been helpful. If you liked this, then get in touch. Obviously, let me know, and I can point you in the direction of how you can maybe find out more. If you want to work with me directly, let me know on any of this. But I just thought this might be helpful. We're all thinking this time of year around our marketing, or you're always thinking about our marketing. It's just a small part of what I do around the marketing module. But sometimes it's nice just to have a little refresher, give us our brain a little kickstart, things that we can think about. So what I've done here is, obviously in this particular part of the marketing module, I've just talked about the client journey from their perspective. There is obviously the whole other side, which is the other side of the client journey, which is from your perspective. So literally the journey they go on through your world. Like they find you on Instagram, they sign up to a newsletter, they go into a Facebook group, and then they receive an email from you like for 5 days, and that's the other half of the client journey. So in this particular part, I've just done the first part, so there is another side to the client journey as well. There's lots more to all this, but I just thought, I was sitting here looking at all my bits and bobs, and I thought, what can I do that's going to help people, maybe help kickstart them thinking about their marketing for next year? So I thought I would just share this little part of my journey with you. So I hope it's been helpful. Like I say, if you want to know any more about what I do, then you can join me over in my Facebook group, The Missing Piece. You've probably already got this because you're on my email list, or you're connected to me personally or in the group. But if you'd like any more support, then do let me know.